I think you're probably going to get to it, but did you say you saw Sputnik, or is that for later on?
Oh, that's where I'm going.
Okay.
That was the pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where you're like, well, Russia not really known for its cinema to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for a lot of it, unless you're like.
Can you name another good Russian movie? What was the one with the the Russian Avengers with the bear man?
yeah.
Man bear pig.
I've seen trailers for it. I have no idea what the hell they're called, but it's just Bobo Avengers, I guess. But yeah,
was Rare Imports Russian, or was that from like Sweden or something?
that was Sweden. I think by and large, like Sweden kicks Russia's ass for a lot of those things. But you get like classic cinema like Tarkovsky, but like aside from that, not really. But I had been curious about this movie too. This was the one movie I had like really wanted to see, and I just didn't get around to it this week. So I'm curious to hear your take on it.
Yeah. So this is another one that I assume most people have not seen. It's out there on demand. It's basically it takes place
the 60s. I'm assuming when
60.
Isn't that when Sputnik?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember
the space race, right?
Okay. So let me just say this: Sputnik was the first satellite that went up in the 50s, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was the first like man-made object that we put in orbit. Don't crucify me if that's wrong. I think that's what Sputnik was. It was just a satellite, an unmanned satellite that the Russians shot up, and then that started the space race because the Americans went, holy shit, we got to get on the ball because we can't be having the Russians flying shit over our heads. We can't be doing this. So that was what, I'm pretty sure that's what Sputnik was.
That is.
Now, they named this movie Sputnik. It has nothing to do with
anything.
Okay. They literally just could call this Russian space movie.
Oh, I thought this was like
Sputnik means nothing.
I thought it was like Apollo 11. Like they came out with the horror movie where it's like Apollo 11 was actually destroyed by space aliens and not other shit. You know what I mean? Like
right. So it's about a Russian cosmonaut, an astronaut, cosmonaut, whatever you want to call him, who has an incident in space. This is very early on in the space program because they're in like capsules. You know what I mean? Like the Apollo one. So this was, forgive me, probably late 60s, early 70s, I think.
Okay.
Maybe in the 80s. You can't, Russia really, you know what I mean? Like Russia, it might have been listen, I don't want to get off my rocker here, but like the Russia factor kind of throws a lot of this off because I don't know if Russia is 30 years behind our space program. So, like, I don't know if it was 1997 when they were finally putting people up there. And they were still in chimps and dogs and rats and stuff in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. I don't know, okay? So, I don't know when the movie takes place. I can't remember. But it doesn't matter. They've somewhere in the last 40 years.
Okay.
It's Russia, so you never know. I don't know if I'm looking at frigging, again, I don't want to go on a rant about Russia here, but it's hard to tell people. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to tell. There's a weird, fun, like, listen, I'm ranting for a purpose. And if you go see this movie, you'll go, God damn it, Dave was right. He was right. That you can't tell what age you're in Russia. Everything looks like shit.
It's just
you don't know if it's today. You don't know if it's 1950.
They don't have cell phones, right? That's the one indicator.
There is. Yeah, you'll at the end of the movie, you'll look back and go, God damn it, he was right. He was right. Just I don't want to spoil it, but there's a moment where you will know what I'm talking about.
Interesting. Okay.
And the Russia factor looms large. So a cosmonaut, he's in a capsule sometime in the last 40 years with another guy. Something happens. They don't show it. It's all off camera. And then they land in the capsule somewhere in Uzbekistan or something. And the next thing we know, they show a scene where there's obviously been some sort of an accident inside the capsule. There's some unpleasantness, I'll say, where things have not gone according to plan. You know what I mean? And a young kind of hotshot, wild, renegade young doctor is recruited by kind of a shadowy figure type to come and talk to this cosmonaut who is kind of he's one of the cosmonauts from the mission, right? So he's being held in a kind of off-site location somewhere in the depths, not in the, he's in one of the stands, you know what I mean, in the great former Soviet Union. He's not anywhere near Moscow. They make a point of that being very important. and
keep him.
He's basically kind of he's being kept under observation,
Right.
and they want her because she's kind of a non-traditional. It's explained. This isn't really a spoiler, but basically the reason she's being brought in is because she did something very radical to treat a young patient that put his life in danger, but actually cured him of his ailment. But people have kind of ostracized her, criticized her, and want her medical license removed because of the way she did this. So this attracts her to. This makes her kind of a, she's got nothing. She's kind of an outcast, but she's obviously talented because she gets results. So kind of perfect for this shady thing that this, the Russian government kind of wants her to come help with. Mm-hmm. So she initially gets recruited because they want her to start. They want her interpretation of some things that are going on with this cosmonaut who's come back, and it's kind of revealed. And this is very general plot stuff. This is not the movie. This is all in the trailer. This is all very just preliminary plot stuff, that something has attached itself to him in space and is living as some sort of weird parasitic alien creature inside of him that is kind of giving him some interesting abilities, and he's not aware that this is attached to him. There's no ill effects right now, so he's almost kind of better because this thing is kind of using him as a host.
Gotcha.
And so every night this thing leaves his body, and they want her to study it and try to interact with it and figure out how to basically, it's Russia, baby. So guess what they want to know?
Weaponize
how do we make it a weapon?
Yeah.
How do we control it? How do we use this against our enemies?
Right.
How do we stop our enemies from getting this? So that's the general broad strokes of the movie, and where it goes from there, it goes crazy. So, and her processes and her kind of experiments with it and learning about it and all that kind of stuff. It's very interesting. It has at times kind of almost like a Venom type vibe. Another great Tom Hardy movie. You know what I mean? Where it's something trying to struggle with something that he can kind of use almost as a weapon in times, but not, and you can't really control it. And so it has kind of those elements too, but really well done, very dark, very I kept thinking, wow, this is Russia. I can't believe it. You know what I mean? This actually looks like a movie. It looks like a real, honest to God, not shit movie.
Is it like Alien-esque, classic 70s Alien? That's kind of the vibe the trailer gave me, or I just assumed that's what they were kind of going for in terms of tone?
It kind of has a, I think we talked about Dark, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it kind of has almost that kind of feel,
okay,
where it looks like if Dark was a movie, kind of that same feel.
Okay.
So very good. Enjoyed it. Go out there, try to find it, catch it. Fun little horror movie, action-y, horror-y. Watch the trailer. I mean, you'll see aliens run around tearing people apart and shit. It's in the trailer, so I don't, you know what I mean? It's very clear how they've marketed the movie, so yeah. I don't think that's spoiling anything. But it's a lot of...
Wait, you're not telling me that Shia LaBeouf pops out of the cosmonaut's chest every time?
I wish, man. I wish. Him and the kid from Peanut Butter Falcon just pop out at the end, and they run hand in hand, skipping into the sunset together. But a super pleasant surprise in a just absolute dog shit year of movies.
Right.